The galaxy had grown silent. For centuries, humans had looked up at the stars and wondered if anyone else was out there. They found planets, civilizations, and even empires spread across thousands of light years. But the whispers of war or disaster rarely touched the corners of space that humans called home. And yet, it was precisely that silence that made humans uneasy. Earth was not like other planets. Its surface was a world of extremes. Deadly storms swept across deserts, monstrous predators hunted in forests, and earthquakes tore cities apart. The oceans were vast and unforgiving, and volcanic eruptions could destroy entire regions in minutes. For humans, survival was never easy. Every child learned how to hunt, build shelters, and repair machines from the age of 5. Every adult carried scars of some battle with nature. And yet, humans did not simply survive, they thrived. Because of this, other species in the galaxy called Earth's people Deathworlders. They thought humans were reckless, dangerous, or unstable. Few outside Earth understood that humans had learned a simple truth. Hardship was training, not punishment. Where other species relied on technology and comfort, humans relied on their brains, their instincts, and their courage. It was a calm morning on Earth when the first warning appeared. Deep space observatories, both human and automated, detected a strange energy pulse at the edge of known space. It was unlike anything recorded before. Alien in origin, massive in scale, and moving with intent. Galaxies away, leaders of powerful empires debated what to do. Most agreed to watch, assuming the threat would pass. Some suggested small patrols, but fear and bureaucracy slowed every decision. On Earth, there was no patience for delay. Scientists, military strategists, and engineers gathered in fortified cities across the planet. Dr. Myra Solis, a veteran of Earth's harshest deserts, studied the signal with sharp gray eyes. She had spent decades testing survival equipment, building fortified shelters, and training humans to endure impossible conditions. "This is not a natural phenomenon," Myra said, her voice firm in the crowded room. "It is a fleet. It is moving fast. If it reaches populated systems, countless lives will be lost." Her words were met with silence. Humans were not afraid, but the scale of what she spoke of made even the hardiest pause. Around the room, monitors displayed images of planets, space lanes, and the approaching threat. Other galactic powers had done nothing. The silence of the galaxy was deafening. "We cannot wait," Myra continued. "We have the ships, the weapons, and the people. If the galaxy will not act, we must." Her words ignited action. Earth's Council approved an unprecedented plan, a strike fleet composed entirely of humans. These were not the polished fleets of other civilizations. They were rugged, makeshift, and unconventional. Ships were built in deserts, jungles, and under mountains, designed for adaptability rather than beauty. Weapons were crafted from salvaged materials, enhanced with human ingenuity rather than alien technology. And the crews. Trained in Deathworld survival, every member could endure conditions that would kill the most advanced species in the galaxy. Captain Kale Rourke oversaw the fleet. A tall man with sun-weathered skin, Kale had spent his life fighting storms, predators, and hostile colonies. He had survived situations others called impossible. He walked among the ships, checking engines, weapons, and supplies, nodding to his crew. "These ships are not perfect," Kale said. "They are human. They bend, they fight, and they survive. And so will we." The first departure was chaotic. The human ships lifted from Earth's orbit, engines roaring against the vacuum of space. Families watched from the surface, waving as their loved ones disappeared into the stars. Children cheered, knowing that these brave humans were about to show the galaxy what Deathworlders were capable of. The journey was perilous. Human ships were smaller than most fleets, but they were nimble. Meteors and radiation storms tore across their path, but humans used ingenuity to navigate dangers that automated systems could not. Engineers rerouted power, created improvised shields, and even flew through asteroid fields to avoid alien patrols. Each crew member demonstrated the hallmark of humanity: quick thinking, boldness, and courage. Days passed, supplies ran low, sleep was scarce, yet the humans pushed forward. Captain Kale gathered his senior officers in the bridge of the flagship, resolute. "We have reached the edge of known space," he said. "The aliens are close. Other civilizations have chosen silence, but we will not wait. We will act. Our survival and the survival of the innocent systems nearby depends on us." Myra Solis added, "Remember, they expect us to be cautious, weak, or slow. They have no idea how adaptable humans are. We will use that. Every obstacle we encounter is an advantage if we think like Deathworlders." The first encounter was sudden. Alien scouts, strange and insect-like, emerged from a warp rift. They were fast, aggressive, and heavily armed. Human ships were outnumbered 10-1, yet humans did not panic. Using daring maneuvers and environmental traps, humans fought like predators. They lured scouts into asteroid fields, where the aliens' larger ships struggled to follow. They deployed modified weapons that used the vacuum of space itself as a trap, tearing enemy hulls apart. Within hours, humans had destroyed a significant portion of the scouting fleet, sending the rest retreating. For the first time, other galactic civilizations noticed. Messages flooded in, expressing awe, confusion, and even fear. How could such a small and supposedly primitive fleet inflict such losses? But humans did not seek recognition. They were focused on survival and on preventing the threat from reaching inhabited systems. Each crew member understood that their skills, honed on a brutal planet called Earth, were now the greatest weapon in the galaxy. As the fleet approached a major star system threatened by the alien advance, Captain Kale addressed his crew. "We face forces larger and stronger than us, but we are humans. We survive what others cannot, we fight when others flee, and we act when others stay silent. That is who we are. Remember that, remember Earth." The fleet prepared for the next phase of their mission, to track the main alien armada and strike where the enemy was weakest. Systems across the galaxy waited, silent, hoping the humans would succeed or fail. And in the midst of all this, the first hints of something extraordinary began to appear. The aliens seemed confused by human tactics. They expected machines and predictable strategies, but humans were unpredictable. They adapted at lightning speed, creating traps that even the aliens had never imagined. The galaxy had assumed that silence was safety. Humans were about to prove that inaction was the real danger. The night before entering the contested system, Myra walked the deck of the Resolute. She looked at the stars and felt the weight of the mission. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we show the galaxy what it means to be human." The fleet prepared for battle, fueled by courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable spirit of Deathworlders. The galaxy stayed silent, but Earth's humans would not. The human fleet moved like shadows across the cold void of space. Captain Kale Rourke's voice echoed through the command deck of the Resolute, firm but calm. Every crew member knew the stakes. The alien threat was growing larger, stronger, and more organized. Yet the humans pressed forward. Their mission was simple in words but dangerous in reality: stop the aliens before they reached inhabited systems, and survive doing it. The first major obstacle appeared in the form of a dense asteroid field. While alien forces avoided the treacherous rocks, humans thrived in chaos. Pilots weaved their ships through narrow corridors, skimming the edges of massive boulders without losing speed. Engineers continuously adapted shields and engines on the fly, turning ordinary vessels into precise machines of survival. Lieutenant Kira Vance, a former desert scout, shouted over the hum of the engines, "Captain, sensors show multiple enemy patrols hiding in the outer belt." Kale nodded. "Use the terrain. We are not here to fight them head-on. Lead them where they cannot maneuver and we will pick them off. The first skirmish began. Alien ships charged, expecting human fear, but found something else entirely. Humans anticipated every move, turning the asteroid field into a trap. Aliens collided with rocks, fell into gravity wells, and were shredded by improvised torpedoes. By nightfall, the humans had destroyed nearly half the patrols. Their tactics were crude compared to alien precision weapons, but effective because they were unpredictable. Meanwhile, communications with Earth confirmed that other civilizations were still watching from a distance. No help would come. The galaxy had chosen silence once again. "This is what we feared," Myra Soley said, examining incoming reports. "No one will intervene until it is too late. We must rely on ourselves entirely." Even so, humans did not waver. Survival was instinct and adaptation was second nature. Crew members repaired ships while under attack. Sensors that were damaged by debris were patched with raw ingenuity. And when food and water supplies ran low, teams on each ship found ways to recycle, ration, and create alternatives from limited resources. After passing the asteroid belt, the fleet entered an uncharted system. The system's star was unstable, throwing bursts of radiation that could destroy unshielded ships. For other species, this would have been an impossible obstacle. For humans, it was a challenge to overcome. Kale held a council on the Resolute. "We cannot go around. The aliens will follow and find us later. We must go through. Prepare shields for variable radiation and reinforce hulls. Engineers, I want every ship ready to handle the star's bursts." The human crews worked tirelessly. Hulls were coated with reflective alloys scavenged from older vessels. Power cores were rerouted to double the shields at critical moments. Pilots memorized the patterns of radiation bursts, timing their maneuvers with precision. It was dangerous, exhausting, but humans were relentless. As they emerged from the radiation storm, the humans encountered their first major alien formation, a fleet larger than any scouting party, with dozens of massive ships bristling with weapons. The aliens struck immediately, assuming humans would panic, but humans had no intention of panicking. They split into small, fast-moving squadrons, darting between the enemy vessels. They used the environment to their advantage, gravity wells, asteroid fragments, and even solar flares, to strike with precision. While the aliens expected conventional attacks, humans used unorthodox methods. Lieutenant Kira fired a makeshift plasma net, designed to disable ships without destroying them. One by one, alien vessels were slowed, trapped, and outmaneuvered. Humans exploited weaknesses that the aliens did not know existed: blind spots in shields, untested reactions to sudden maneuvers, and overconfidence in their superior technology. Hours turned into days. Each skirmish was a brutal test of endurance. Humans fought tirelessly, guided by instinct, experience, and a shared understanding that hesitation could mean death. On board the Resolute, Myra watched screens filled with data streams, noting every pattern in alien attacks. "They are adapting," she said. "But we are faster, smarter, and more flexible. We survive because we improvise." Kale grinned despite the exhaustion. "Exactly. They expect machines and protocols. We are human. That is our advantage." During a lull in combat, the human fleet intercepted a distress signal from a nearby colony. The planet was small, lightly defended, and under attack by alien scouts. Other species might have ignored it, seeing it as too minor to warrant action. Humans did not. Kale gave the order: "Prepare a rapid strike. We are saving that colony." The fleet executed the maneuver with precision. Using guerrilla tactics and unconventional weapons, humans disabled the enemy's assault ships. Colonists were evacuated, defenses reinforced, and the aliens forced to retreat. The humans had not only survived, they had triumphed in the face of overwhelming odds. The victory sent a message across the galaxy: Even silent civilizations began to take notice. Reports of human ingenuity and bravery spread, although few dared to act or intervene. Humanity was proving itself, not through numbers or technology, but through resilience, courage, and quick thinking. As the fleet continued its journey, they faced another obstacle: sabotage attempts. Opportunistic factions from nearby systems, fearing human expansion or wishing to profit from chaos, tried to interfere. Ships were tampered with, communications jammed, and routes blocked. Humans responded not with panic but with determination. Engineers repaired sabotage quickly. Pilots adapted flight patterns. Crews worked in harmony, each member understanding their role and improvising solutions. Even when outnumbered or outgunned, humans survived because they never stopped thinking. Days later, the fleet reached the coordinates of the main alien armada. It was enormous, a shadow across space stretching for thousands of kilometers. The aliens had underestimated humans, assuming their small fleet could never reach this far, let alone engage effectively. Kale studied the formation with his officers. "We cannot match them in firepower," he said, "but we can outthink them. Use the environment, exploit their patterns, and strike where they least expect. Our advantage is that we are unpredictable, adaptable, and fearless." Myra added, "And we are humans. We survive what others cannot. That is what they do not understand. We do not wait for perfection. We act and we endure." The fleet prepared for its first major engagement with the Armada. Humans deployed small squads to scout weaknesses. They mapped the alien formation carefully, noting the most vulnerable ships. Engineers created makeshift weapons that could disable key systems. Pilots rehearsed maneuvers under extreme conditions. Every preparation relied not on technology alone, but on human creativity and intuition. As the first strike began, the humans moved like hunters. Small squadrons darted through the massive alien fleet, hitting isolated vessels and retreating before counterattacks could strike. Aliens reacted predictably, only to fall into traps set by the humans. Each success, no matter how small, built momentum. Each failure taught new lessons. Captain Kale addressed his crew. "We are facing overwhelming odds, but remember, humans survive where others fail. Deathworlders fight when the rest flee. Every move we make now is a testament to that spirit. Keep sharp, trust your instincts, and adapt. The galaxy has stayed silent. That ends today." Even as exhaustion set in, humans continued to push forward. Their resourcefulness shone through. Damaged ships became mobile weapons platforms, shields were rerouted dynamically, and communication delays were overcome by pre-planned signals and quick thinking. Each obstacle was not a roadblock, but an opportunity. The first day of the Armada engagement ended with heavy losses on both sides, but the humans had proven a point. They could survive, fight, and even triumph against forces far larger and more technologically advanced. As night fell across the fleet, Myra and Kale walked the deck of the Resolute, watching the stars. "They will not expect what comes next," Myra said. "We are humans, that is enough." Kale nodded. "Tomorrow we hit harder. The galaxy has waited in silence long enough. We will act where others will not. We are Deathworlders. We survive, we fight, and we will win." The human fleet prepared for the next phase of the battle. Their courage, ingenuity, and relentless spirit would be tested further than ever before, yet no fear lingered among them. For humans, silence in the galaxy was never an excuse to wait. It was a call to act, and act they would. The alien armada stretched across space like a dark storm, its enormous ships bristling with weapons and shields. Captain Kale Rourke stood on the bridge of the Resolute, staring at the formation. Every human knew the odds were stacked against them, yet none wavered. Earth had trained them for hardship, survival, and ingenuity. They were Deathworlders, and they had never faced an enemy they could not adapt to. "We have one chance," Kale said, his voice steady. "We hit them where they least expect. Precision, speed, and creativity, that is our weapon. Myra Solis nodded beside him. And we survive. We always survive. The human fleet split into smaller, nimble squadrons. Their strategy was clear: draw the alien forces into traps, weaken them in sections, and avoid direct confrontation with the full armada. Other civilizations in the galaxy still watched silently. None dared interfere. It was up to humans alone. The first strike began with daring maneuvers. Human ships darted between the massive alien vessels, weaving through the gaps in their formation. They deployed magnetic nets, energy pulses, and makeshift projectiles, forcing the aliens into unexpected defensive positions. Every human crew used instinct and quick thinking to exploit weaknesses in the alien tactics. Lieutenant Kira Vance led a squadron that moved around the flanks of the armada. "Keep tight. Watch for changes in shield patterns," she shouted. Her squadron used the armada's size against it, slipping between gaps too small for the larger alien ships to follow. Explosions erupted as trapped vessels were disabled, and humans cheered over the comms. Kale monitored the battle, aware that a single mistake could be fatal. "They are reacting slower than expected," he said. "Our unpredictability is working." Meanwhile, Myra coordinated engineers and scientists across the fleet. Human ingenuity shone brightest here. Teams devised rapid repairs for damaged ships, converted cargo vessels into weapons platforms, and created new strategies on the fly. Even small adjustments made enormous differences in combat. The aliens began to realize that humans were not ordinary opponents. Their attacks became more aggressive, yet still, they could not anticipate the humans' adaptability. The aliens expected structured, predictable maneuvers, but humans thrived in chaos. In the midst of battle, a massive alien vessel charged at the Resolute. Its weapons fired volleys of energy that could obliterate an ordinary human ship. Kale's voice cut through the alarms. "Divert all power to shields. We are not just surviving, we are outsmarting them." The humans executed a daring maneuver, skimming past the alien ship while releasing magnetic traps. The alien vessel became entangled, slowing down as smaller human squadrons attacked its engines. Within minutes, it was disabled. Crew members cheered, knowing that even a single victory like this could turn the tide. But the battle was far from over. The alien armada regrouped, focusing on human supply ships. Without them, the fleet could not continue the fight. Kale quickly issued orders. "Form a protective screen around the supplies. Use everything we have: firepower, maneuvers, ingenuity. No ship lost if we can help it." Humans executed daring aerial-style maneuvers in the vacuum of space. They used debris fields, energy pulses, and even gravitational anomalies to shield the supply ships. Aliens, frustrated and confused, wasted energy chasing small fleets while leaving larger gaps exposed. Every move the humans made was a calculated risk, and each risk paid off. Meanwhile, Myra identified a critical weakness in the alien formation. A cluster of command vessels was centralized, relying heavily on advanced communications that could be disrupted. "We can cut their coordination," she said. "One strike and the whole armada will become chaotic." Kale immediately approved the plan. "Prepare a strike team. Take out the command cluster. Time is short. We cannot wait for perfection. Humans never do." The strike team consisted of the fleet's fastest and most experienced pilots. They moved like shadows, weaving through the enemy formation while avoiding concentrated fire. They released energy disruptors that jammed alien communications and disabled key control systems. The armada faltered, losing coordination. Alien ships collided, shields failed, and chaos spread. Seeing the opportunity, Kale ordered a full offensive. "Now, hit them everywhere. We are humans. We do not wait, we do not surrender, and we do not fail." The fleet moved with precision, striking vulnerable vessels and using the environment of space itself, asteroid belts, radiation bursts, and gravity wells, to their advantage. Humans turned desperation into strategy, proving that creativity, courage, and adaptability were more powerful than raw technology. Hours later, the battle reached its climax. The alien armada, once confident and overwhelming, now struggled against the relentless humans. Ships were destroyed or disabled, retreating from the ingenuity and fearlessness of the Deathworlders. Every human ship, scarred and battered, continued to fight. On the bridge of the Resolute, Kale surveyed the battlefield. "We've done what no one else would. The galaxy has stayed silent, but we acted, and we will survive." Myra added, "This is more than a battle, it is a message. Humans will not wait for help. Humans will fight, and humans will endure." Even as the aliens attempted one final assault, humans had anticipated it. The fleet executed a daring maneuver, surrounding the remaining enemy ships and forcing surrender. Communication arrays were patched to send a clear warning. The humans of Earth were not to be underestimated. The silence of the galaxy shattered. Civilizations that had observed from afar now saw humans not as primitive Deathworlders, but as a force of courage, ingenuity, and resilience. No technology alone could explain the humans' victory. It was their spirit, their ability to endure, adapt, and act when others hesitated. After the battle, humans moved to secure the systems threatened by the Armada. Colonies were rebuilt, supply lines reinforced, and defensive measures put in place. Every victory had a cost, but the people of Earth were trained for hardship. Scarred though they were, they celebrated survival and courage. Kale addressed his fleet. "We have faced the impossible and we have triumphed, not because of weapons, numbers, or alliances, but because we are humans. We survive where others fail. We fight when others flee. We act when the galaxy stays silent." Myra added, "Let this victory be a reminder to all. Humanity is not weak and humanity is not to be ignored. We learn, we adapt, and we endure. Deathworlders will always find a way." Word of the victory spread across the galaxy. Some civilizations approached with caution, others with respect, and a few with envy. Humans had proven that survival, courage, and ingenuity could overcome even the greatest odds. They had acted when the galaxy remained silent. Back on Earth, children looked up at the stars, dreaming of adventure and heroism. Parents told stories of the fleet, of Captain Kale, of Myra Solis, and of every human who had fought bravely. The tales inspired a new generation to be fearless, inventive, and resilient, true Deathworlders. For humanity, the battle was more than a fight for survival. It was a statement. No matter how silent the galaxy remained, no matter how great the threat, humans would rise, adapt, and act. And when they did, the universe would take notice. As the stars shimmered above the fleet, Kale looked out at space. "The galaxy stayed silent," he said quietly, "but we spoke with action, and the universe will never forget it." The fleet returned to Earth, victorious but vigilant. They had proven that humanity was more than a species. They were survivors, innovators, and warriors capable of overcoming any challenge. The galaxy had stayed silent, but the humans of Earth had taken action, and their legacy had only begun.